Welcome to our topic measuring length, weight or mass, volume or capacity, time and angle, rate, and temperature. In this topic, you are going to learn on how to identify different measures of quantities, differentiate one type of measure of quantities from another type, distinguish appropriate measure of quantities to be used, and estimate measures of quantities. Looking back to your elementary mathematics, in dividing or multiplying a number by a power of 10, 100, or 1000, and so on, there is a rule. So, let us review some of it. Let us have the first example. Let us multiply 1000 by 143.98. So, what we are going to do is look for the number of zeros. So here, since we are going to multiply it by 1000, the number of zeros are 3. Okay, so since we have 3 zeros, we are going to move the decimal point to the right by 3 times. Okay, so let us move now. 1, 2, 3. So, instead of 143.98, the number now will become 143,980. Number 2 example, 56 times 100. So here we have 2 zeros and we are going to move by 2 times to the right. So from 56, we are going to move the decimal point to the right by 2. Okay, so from 56, the answer now becomes 5,600. Okay, so for the number 3 example, 0.0078 or 78 10,000s multiplied by 10,000. So 10,000 have 4 zeros. So meaning to say we are going to move to the right by 4 times. So from 78 10,000s, we are going to move the point to the right by 4 times. Okay? So the answer becomes 78. Okay, so sa dividing naman tayo. 97 divided by 100. So here we are going to look for the number of zeros. The number of zeros is 2. Okay, so meaning to say, from 97, since this is divide, we are going to move to the left by 2 times. So from 97, move tayo ng 1, 2. So the answer becomes 97 hundredths. Another one, 118.63 divided by 10. So here we only have 1 0. So we are going to the left by, we are going to move the point to the left by 1. Okay, so from 118.63, it would be 11.863. Let us have the lesson proper now about the measures of the quantities. Okay, so by mathematical definition, measurement is the process of associating numbers with physical quantities and phenomena. We use different measuring tools for a certain quantity to be measured. For example, we use ruler in measuring the length. Weighing scale is in measuring the mass or weight, and measuring cup in determining the amount of a certain object. There are a lot of tools or devices appropriate in measuring objects. However, these instruments are not yet invented in ancient times. Do you realize how the primitive people measure things around them? So, since wala pa dati yung mga pang-measure natin ngayon, ano kaya sa tingin nyo yung mga ginagawa dati ng mga tao para makapagsukat? Okay? So, in around 3rd or 4th before Christ or 3rd or 4th BC, all units of measurements were based on something that is familiar to them. Earliest people used body parts and things around them to measure at one thing. In around 3rd or 4th BC or before Christ, all units of measurements were based on something that is familiar to them. Earliest people used body parts and things around them to measure one thing. So, here are the ancient measurements. Since wala pa dati yung mga pang-measure natin ngayon, ito yung mga ginamit noong unang panahon. Okay, so the ancient people are the Egyptians. So, ito yung mga ginamit na dati ng mga Egyptians. So, the basic unit, they have the basic unit, the description, and the image here for the fourth column rather. So, first is the cubit. Pag sinabing cubit, this is the distance from the tip of the middle finger to the elbow. Ito siya. And next one is the digit. Pag sinabi namang digit, it is considered as one finger. Pag sinabing one finger, it is the distance. Ito siya. The distance ng dalawang finger, ang tawag doon ay digit. So, ang magkatabing finger, ang tawag doon, one digit. Kada finger, one digit. Another finger, one digit. Next one is the span. Pag sinabi namang span, it is the distance from the tip of a thumb of a stretched hand to the tip of the pinky finger. Okay, so parang sa Tagalog, isang dangkal. Okay, so isang dangkal is one span. So the body parts being used during this time can lead to confusion as the measurement varied from one person to another. So, kagaya ko, babae ako, maliit lang yung kamay ko. So, pag ginamit ko ang span, pag sinabi kong one span, maiksi lang yung one span ko compared dun sa mga lalaking malalaki yung kamay. Kaya, nagkakaroon ng mga confusion. Okay? So, ang ginawa, due to this situation, many standards of measurements were developed. The body parts being used this time can lead to confusion as the measurements varied from one person to another. Imagine, ang kamay ko ay maliit. Okay? So, I will measure one span. Compare my small hand to the one with the bigger hand. So, especially yung mga lalaki, malalaki yung hands nila. Okay? So, if you compare my one span to the other span of a big one, so magkakalayo na siya, malaki yung difference. Okay? So, that is why it led to confusion. So, due to this situation, many standards of measurements were developed. So, one of it was the English system. So, the English system of measurement is one of the many standards. And the basic units of length under this system are inch, foot, yard, and mile. So, pound and ounce are the basic measurement for the weight or mass. And converting one unit to another requires more time in English system. That is why another standard of measurement is being developed. That is why they developed the so-called metric system of measurement. So meter is the basic unit of length, while gram is for weight or mass. Let us have the measuring length. So, for the mathematical definition, length is the distance from one point to another. So, the common unit used in measuring lengths are the inches, feet, yards, and miles in English system. And also, millimeter, centimeter, meter, kilometer, and metric system. On the other hand, so inch, foot, millimeter, and centimeter are used for shorter objects. Like for example, if you are going to measure, like for example, my finger, you are going to measure it. So you will just use either inch, foot, millimeter, or centimeter. And on the other hand, yard, mile, meter, and kilometer are used for longer objects. So, syempre, kapag ang ni-measure mo, like for example, is way papunta dun sa Bicol. So, what we are going to use is either yard, mile, meter, or kilometer. So, here are the examples of the measuring tools. So, tape measure. Next is the ruler, and then the yardstick. So let's say for example, I'm going to measure the crayon. What do you think am I going to use? Is it a yardstick or just a ruler? Yes, of course. We are going to use just a ruler because ruler are used to measure a shorter object. So hindi ka nagagamit ng yardstick kasi here are some units of length that are commonly used in daily life. So first is the 10 millimeters is equivalent to 1 centimeter. 10 centimeters is equivalent to 1 decimeter. 10 decimeters is equivalent to 1 meter. And 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So these are the units of length that are commonly used, especially sa engineering. Let us talk about measuring weight or mass. So by definition, weight is defined as the measurement of the pull of gravity on an object, and mass is a measure of how heavy an object is. So pag sinabi nating weight, 'di ba? Kadalasan ang nilalagay natin doon sa personal information ay weight. So pag sinabing weight, that is the measurement of the pull of gravity on an object. So hindi yun yung sinasabi nating bigat. Okay? So pag sinabing bigat, yun ay mass. Kasi mass is defined as a measure of how heavy an object is. Okay? So that is the difference between the weight and the mass. In metric system, gram is the basic unit of mass. So it is used for the smaller or lighter masses such as ingredients in recipes or nutritional facts at the back of the various food labels. So usually makikita nyo dun sa likod, like for example, the nata de coco. You can see how many grams is the nata de coco. And then, the kilogram is for the heavier masses such as rice and meat. So, pag ang kinikilo naman yung mga bigas, yung mga gulay, prutas, and so on, ang ginagamit kadalasan ay yung kilogram na siya. So, hindi na siya per gram. So, Here are the different instruments used in measuring a mass. Okay, so the commonly used are the electronic digital weighing scale, the weighing scale, and last one is the beam balance. Now, some of you may be wondering what is the difference between these two scales. Okay? So, ito, yung weighing scale na yan na may pinya or the pineapple, what do you think is the use of that? Okay? So, when selling fruits and vegetables, you need to be precise with the measure. When selling fruits and vegetables, you need to be precise with the measurement of the product so that you may earn and save more money. So, suppose you are going to, suppose you are a vendor and a buyer wants 2 kilograms of pineapple. You have to choose the most appropriate measuring tool. In a weighing scale, make sure that the pointer is at 0 mark as you put the pineapple. In a weighing scale, make sure the pointer is at the 0 mark. As you put the pineapple, the pointer moves and points to its mass. Okay, so ibig sabihin, itong weighing scale na to, ginagamit siya dun sa heavier mass kasi nga in kilogram na siya. Next one, this one. So, this figure, since the pointer is in between 700 gram and 800 gram, the weight of the fruit is 7,500 grams. Pag sinabing 7,500 grams, now here are the units of mass that are commonly used in daily life. First one is 10 milligram is equivalent to 1 centigram. 10 centigram is equivalent to 1 decigram. 10 decigram is equivalent to 1 gram. And 1,000 grams is equivalent to 1 kilogram. So, dun kanina sa example natin, 7,500 grams yung kilo ng fruit. So, meaning to say, since 1,000 grams is equivalent to 1 kilogram, that is 7.5 kilograms. Am I right? Next one. 1 pound is equivalent to 16 ounces. 1 metric ton is equivalent to 2,200 pounds, and 1 kilogram is equivalent to 2.2 pounds. Let us talk about the measuring volume or the capacity. Volume is the amount of space in any form of solid or liquid matter occupies. Volume is the amount of space in any form of solid or liquid matter occupies. And the cubic meter is the standard of unit of volume. So, here are the conversions that is used in daily life. 1,000 cubic millimeter is equivalent to 1 cubic centimeter. 1,000 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 cubic decimeter. 1,000 cubic decimeter is equivalent to 1 cubic meter. So, using those related units, okay, so ito yung example sa cube. 1 dm is equivalent to 10 cm. Yun yung sukat ng kada side nitong cube. Next one, let us talk about the capacity. Capacity is the amount of matter, usually liquid, which a container can hold. And on the other hand, liter is the basic unit of capacity and is equivalent to a cubic decimeter. So, ito yung mga ibang units of capacity. So, 10 millimeters is equal to 1 cubic centiliter. 10 centiliters is equivalent to 1 deciliter, and 10 deciliters is equivalent to 1 liter. So, pag bumili kayo ng 1 liter na pag bumili kayo ng 1 liter na C2, that is equivalent to 10 deciliters. For two measurements discussed, measuring volume has also different devices to be used, like for example, the medicine dropper. So the spoon, the teaspoons, and the measuring cup. Those are the objects that can be used to find the volume of the smaller objects. Like for example, the medical dropper. The medical dropper is usually used dun sa mga baby sa gamot. Kung ilang ml lang yung ipapainom na gamot. And hindi lang sa mga bata, pati dun sa mga puppies. Pag may sakit or pag nagpapainom ng vitamins. And these standardized tablespoons naman, ginagamit yan sa cooking. Okay, so yung standardized spoon na yan, may nakalagay dyan, ang measurement niya, 1, next is 1/4 teaspoon, next one is 1/2, nakalagay dyan, next is 1/2 teaspoon and 1 teaspoon, 1/2 1/2 spoon or tablespoon, and so on. Pero pinakamalaki dyan sa standardized tablespoon is tablespoon 1. Meron namang measuring cups. Sa measuring cups naman, usually ang pinakamalaki dyan ay 1 cup. Or, meron din yung mas malalaki pa, 2 cups. In the figure here, since the water level is between 40 and 60, we can assume that the capacity of this is 50 units. So, sinabi kong units kasi wala namang nakalagay either ml or what kind of unit. So, since walang nakalagay kung anong unit siya, we can safely say that the measure or the capacity of this beaker is 50 units. Now, for this one, sa pail naman, it is complicated to measure larger objects like this pail. Okay? Kasi nga, hindi mo siya masusukat ng direct. So, what we can do is measure it or the volume of it putting a drinking water. Like for example, a 2-liter drinking bottle to fill a huge pail. Pwede kang maglagay hanggang sa mapuno siya. So, bibilangin mo. You are going to count how many liters did you put into it. So, pag ilan yung kung kailan siya napuno, then you can safely say that that is the capacity of the huge pail. Now, let us talk about the measuring time and angle. So, time describes how long it takes to do something. Pag sinabing time, sa Tagalog, oras. Okay, so, ang oras daw ay so both English and metric system uses the same unit of the measurement of time. So the table here represents the units of time and their equivalents. So 60 seconds is equivalent to 1 minute, 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, 24 hours is 1 day, 7 days is 1 week, 52 weeks is 1 year, 12 months is 1 year, and 365 days is also 1 year. And meron tayong tinatawag na leap year. So, pag sinabing leap year, that is 366 days. Clocks and watches are the devices used to show the passage of time. We have the so-called AM and PM. So the difference between the two is that AM means ante-meridiem, which denotes before midday, while PM means post-meridiem, which denotes after midday. Called elapsed time. Pag sinabing elapsed time, it is the amount that has passed from a given time to another given time. Let us have the example regarding the clock or the time. So suppose your mother went to the market by 9 a.m. and went back home by 11:30 a.m. How much time does she spend outside the house? Yes, that is correct. The answer is 2 hours and 30 minutes. Next one, Aunt Gia is cooking your favorite adobo. She started cooking around 8:05 a.m. She prepared the ingredients for 25 minutes and cooked for about 35 minutes. At what time will adobo be served? Yes, the answer here is 9:05 a.m. because she used 1 hour to prepare and cook the favorite adobo. Let us talk about the angle. Angle is the union of two endpoints of a ray. So this is the two ray. Alright, so the first ray is BA and the second ray is BC. Okay, so the union of the endpoints of those rays is called the angle. So ito yon yung B dito. This is called an angle. The space between the two rays is an angle. Ito siya. Ito yung tinatawag nating angle. Next, so in the figure, the angle or the symbol for angle is like this one. ABC is formed when ray BA and ray BC intersect at common endpoints, which is P. Okay, so ang nabuo dito ay angle ABC. So babasahin natin siyang angle ABC. The common endpoint is called the vertex, while rays BA and BC are the sides. So dito sa angle na to, ang vertex natin ay B. B is the vertex and then the rays are the BA and BC. So, tinatawag din siyang sides, yung rays. Next one. So, what do you think is the term for this object? I know you are very familiar to this. So, yes, that is the protractor. So, what do you think is the use of the protractor? Okay, so protractor is the instrument used in measuring angles. So, kung gusto mo mag-measure ng angles, the appropriate tool to use is the protractor. The angles are measured in degrees. A complete rotation of a ray is 360 degrees, and therefore, 1 degree is equivalent to 1 over 360 of its complete rotation. Okay, so, since dun sa nakita nyong okay, To see if you know how to measure an angle, let us use this protractor. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the ray BA and BC. The vertex of the angle should coincide with the midpoint of the base of the protractor. So, para maayos natin siyang ma-measure, kailangan itong vertex na to, di ba ang vertex dito ay itong B? So, kailangan yung vertex ng angle na yan ay magko-coincide. Pag sinabing coincide dun siya sa, natatapat siya dun sa midpoint ng base ng protractor. So, ito yung base. Okay? So, pag sinabing midpoint, yung pinakagitna ng protractor. Okay? So, ito yung midpoint. Nagko-coincide ba ang vertex ng angle doon sa base ng protractor, sa midpoint ng base? Yes, of course. So, para masukat natin siya ng accurate, kailangan mag-coincide ang base ng protractor or the midpoint of the base dun sa vertex. Alright? So, what do you think is the measure of the angle here? One side of the angle should be aligned with the zero marking of the protractor. Okay. So, makikita nyo dito, na dito sa kaliwa yung buka ng angle. Okay, so what do you think is the measure of the angle here? The measure here is 130 degrees. Very good. Now, let us talk about rate. Rate is a quantity, amount, or degree of something measured per unit of something else. It is also the comparison of two different quantities, and it refers to a specific quantity over time. So, there is no specific unit for rate. Pwede siyang ma-incline. Let us cite some example regarding rate. Jana can type 1,200 words in 30 minutes. So, what do you think is the rate of Jana? So, let us have Jana's typing rate is equal to 1,200 words divided by 30 minutes. So, that is 400 words per minute. So, 1,200 yan divided by 30 is equal to 400. So, ibig sabihin, ang rate ni Jana ay 400 words per minute. Yan ang natatype ni Jana. So, meaning to say her typing rate is 400 words per minute. Next is, Romeo drives at the rate of 60 km per hour. He reached his office after 4 hours of driving. How far is his office from home? Okay, so kung every hour daw, 60 kilometers ang nadadrive ni Romeo. So, since 4 hours niya din drive, ang office niya papunta sa, ang home niya papunta sa office, so we can use the number line. So, for 1 hour, he drives 60 kilometers. For 2 hours, he can drive 120 kilometers. For 3 hours, 180 kilometers. And so, ibig sabihin, for 4 hours, he can drive 240 kilometers. So, how far is his office from home? It is 240 kilometers. Now, let's talk about the measuring temperature. Temperature is the measure of hotness or coldness of an object. The basic units used in temperature are degree Fahrenheit and degree Celsius. Thermometer is the basic device used to measure temperature. And the temperature of an object does not depend on its size. Like, for example, I will measure a hot water in a glass and a hot water in a drum. So, hindi porke mas malaki yung drum ay mas mataas yung temperature niya. Or porke mas mataas yung mas malaki yung drum, mas mababa yung temperature na. It does not depend on its size. So, the temperature is concise. Pag sinabi mong 30 degrees Celsius, 30 degrees Celsius lang yan. Kahit saan mo ilagay, kung 30 degrees Celsius siya, 30 degrees Celsius lang talaga siya. Understood? Okay, so in the figure, the temperature of the thermometer is 41 degree Celsius. How about dito sa pangalawang thermometer natin? So, you can read it as 36.8 degrees Celsius. So, these are the examples of thermometer. Now, let us see if you have learned something on this topic. Okay, so this is the ancient crossword puzzle. So let us see if you can answer it correctly. A cross tree. It is one of the many standards developed, but converting from one unit to another makes more time. What is the answer here? Yes, the answer is English system. Next one. Across 5. One of the basic units of mass in English system. So 5 letters siya? Yes, the answer is pound. Next one. Across 6. One of the basic units of mass in metric system. Yes, the answer is gram. 4 letters gram. Next one, across 7. It is the width of one finger. 'Di ba sinabi ko yun kanina? Anong tawag doon sa width ng one finger? Yes, the answer is digit. Next one, across 8. One of the basic units of length in English system. So that is 4 letters. The answer is mile. Very good. Next one. Across 9. Distance from the tip of a thumb of a stretched hand to the tip of the pinky finger. Yes, it is 4 letters. Yes, the answer is span. Okay, next one, across 10. One of the many standards developed in converting from one unit to another makes it easier. Yes, it is called the metric system. Next one, down 1. One of the ancient people who used their body parts in measuring objects. Yes, the answer is Egyptians. Next one, second to the last, down 2. One of the familiar things around primitive people that is used in measuring. Again, one of the familiar things around primitive people that is used in measuring. Yes, the answer is body parts. Last one, it is a process of measuring or quantifying. Yes, the answer is measurement. Before we end this, let me share a short Bible verse. For with God, nothing shall be impossible. Luke 1:37. God bless.